Hello to all you wonderful hopefuls out there. How are you all doing today, my hopeful family? Listen, I wanted to stop in today just to have a quick conversation with you. Just want to share some information from a session that I previously did pertaining to children and parents. Now, I know we all have our certain things that we do, is a certain way that we like doing things as parents. But I just want you to stop and just think a moment. Just think on a few things here. Reevaluate some of the things that you have done. It may require us to go back and apologize to our children. I know for me, I didn't always get it right, um, but I think I kept a pretty good relationship with my children. Um, that when the time came, they were able to come and share with me. Ephesians 6 says, and it reads, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment of promise, that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth. And you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord." And I've noticed that a lot of us have focused on that first verse where it talks about children obeying your parents in the Lord, honoring them, which is what they are definitely supposed to do. And I will never talk against that. But as parents, we've got to learn to be a little mindful. So I'm just going to share something. I'm going to try to help you to help yourself so that you can have a better relationship with your children. No, it is not your goal to be your children's friend when they're minors. You're supposed to be friendly, but not their friend. Okay? Now, once they become mature adults, then your relationship may go on to become more of a friend's base. However, they will still respect you in the role as being that parent. A lot of times what I've noticed is that we have gone about our day and we have just really come down on our children. And we come down hard. And then when our children get upset, we don't seem to understand it. And I think a lot of it is because what we lack is relationship with our children. At some point, you've got to develop some type of relationship. Just like it is when we're serving the Lord, even though there's no comparison. But, however, we have a relationship that we've developed with the Lord that came by studying, spending time together in one another, in God's presence. And that's what is required with our children. By studying them and spending time with them in their presence, just being around them. Figure out what it is they like to do. Their friends. Get to know who their friends are and what it's like, what their life is like. Some of our children have friends that we have no idea who they are, where they come from. We don't know anything about them. And those are some things that we really need to find out about. We've got to find out who it is our children are associating themselves with and why. Because a lot of them could be hanging out with people because they've been bullied, to the point that they feel they have no choice but to hang out with that person out of fear of what could possibly happen to them if they don't hang out with them. A lot of them are hanging out with with their friends because they just want to know more, or they feel they're missing out on something. So they're drawn to them. A lot of them are hanging out with people that they now call their friends because something has happened and that person was the one that came to their rescue. So it behooves us to have conversations with our children. Find out what's going on in their life every day. You got to find out what it is. I know I made a mistake of getting to the point that my children knew if anything came about, get to their mama, oh, she gonna get it taken care of. But that can be good as well as bad. It could possibly backfire. Not in the way that you think. Because a lot of us, we tend to come to our children's rescue, and our children haven't really been truthful with us about what has taken place. A lot of us come to our children's rescue, and it's something that they are truly guilty of, and we never address the fact that they're guilty of it. And those things are things that can eventually tear a rift in the parent-child relationship, because we really don't know. We don't know how to approach it, or we're approaching it from a method that's something that took place ancient years ago, and we don't know why it came about that way. We just do it because that's what was done to us. And that's not always a good thing. So I just want you to be mindful of it and just to stop and think. Understand your children. Spend time with your children. Get to know your children and understand that each of them are different. When the Bible speaks about training up a child in the way that they should go, when they are old, they'll not depart from it. That's not just speaking on the spiritual sense. That's in everyday life for your children. If you have a child that loves to read, then help that child. Get that child a library card. Take that child to get some books. But because you have one who loves to read, doesn't mean all of them love to read and that all of them are going to be bookworms. So find out what it is that they really like. You may have a child who is into sports, one that really, really loves football. Well, you can't force football on all of them, or you shouldn't force football on all of them. But for that one that really shows interest in football, then help them go about their way with doing that, even if it's just for a year or two. They may not always stick with football or whatever that sport is, or whatever that extracurriculum activity is. It might not always be something that they want to stick to. But while they are doing it, understand why they are doing it. And when it comes a time that they just stop doing it, ask questions. Find out why. Find out why it no longer interests them. If they found a different hobby or better interest, that's wonderful. But at least find out why they would like to make the change. And don't go for the because I just don't want to do that anymore. No. It's a reason behind it. There is an underlying reason why. Find out the why. You owe it to your child to find out. Okay? If you have a child who is just wants to sing, well, then help them cultivate that gift in singing. It doesn't mean all your children want to do it, but that one who is showing interest in it, help them to cultivate it. Okay? So that's what it's referring to. That's one of the things that scripture is referring to. Okay? So it's not all just on the spiritual aspect, but it's something that helps them in their everyday life. Okay? You have to remember, our children have dreams, just like we've had dreams. And let them live out their dream through themselves, not us living our dreams through them. You know, you really, really wanted to be the greatest basketball player or gymnastics or football player or soccer player or cheerleader, whatever it is. That was the dream you had for yourself. You should not be living out your dream through your children. Allow them room to have their own dreams, and you just help them to cultivate it. Okay? You direct them. You help to guide them, but use wisdom in that guiding of it. Okay? It should not require that they have to spend all types of hours on it. No. It should be a balance. Okay? If your child is into PlayStation or Xbox or whatever other game there is out there, it's nothing wrong with that. But allow them to take a break from it. Monitor it, especially when they're young minors. You've got to monitor the time that they're spending. Okay? On the internet. You've got to monitor that stuff. Creeps are creeping in through every area that they possibly can. And if we as parents are not alert, then things tend to happen, or things tend to draw them away from what they know to be right. Okay? So be encouraged. You can do it. I promise you can. And remember, use this word. Get in your word. It will help you with everyday life when it comes to your children. I'm not saying that you've got to be holier than thou. No. But there should be something about you in the life that you're living and the guidance that you're trying to bring for your children that lets them know you're steering them in the right direction. Okay? If they want to be dancers, it's nothing wrong with that, but just monitor the movement of the dances that they're doing, because that too can draw the wrong persons around them. Okay? So just be mindful of that. Go about your days and just remember, be more observant with your children, especially with younger children. Okay? And if you have teenagers, it's not too late to get it right, but you got to start from somewhere. Getting in the Word would be a great place to start. Get in the Word for yourself so that you can get the instructions that you need that can help you to train up a child, your child, in the way that they should go. And when they get old, they will not depart from it. It don't mean they won't leave it. They won't ever forget it. They may walk away and do some stuff that you don't approve of. When they become of age, I get it, I know. I did it too. You probably will too. You probably have done it. But just remember, it's all about establishing a relationship with your children. Letting them be children, but letting them be children that has some guidance and some direction. Okay? Not them just being willy-nilly, guiding them own selves, directing them own selves, or following all the advice that they get from their friends. Because you got to remember, most of their friends are the same age as they are. So they know what? No more than the other one. But it's left up to you to help them. And for you that may be there in their lives that are not their biological parents, it's okay. You are that adult figure, that positive role model that they have access to. Not all these role models that they have that are superstars and star athletes and people that they have no way of getting in contact with. You were there. You were closer to them more often than anyone else. So you help in cultivating their gift. You help to direct them in the right path, so long as you're doing what is right and you're training them to do what is right. Okay? This is not intended for the perverts out there that's doing stuff they ain't got no business to these kids, or trying to coerce them into doing stuff that you know they ain't got no business doing, stuff that's going to get them in trouble. This is not for you. You need to go somewhere and get yourself together, because you are hurting so many people. So many families are being destroyed because of perverts and others that are out there that are encouraging kids to do things that they should not be doing. If you are not a responsible adult working with a child to do something positive that will help them to better themselves in a positive manner, that will not bring shame to them nor their families. Because at the end of the day, you've got to remember, whatever you do, don't just affect you, it affects all persons involved in your life. So if you can't agree to do that, then step out the way and allow somebody who can to do it, because that's what they need. They need someone who can be a positive influence in their life, in their everyday living. Okay? So, be encouraged. I'm here for you. Passing on hope is what I do. Have a great day.